Are we watching basketball or an MMA fight? Aja Wilson with a full-on two-handed shove sends veteran all-star Kayla McBride flying to the floor, and for that, she gets a common foul. A common foul. This right here isn't just a bad call. It's not just a missed flagrant. This is a symptom of a much bigger problem that's starting to affect the WNBA. And it's the moment the league's growing crisis and officiating and a fury debate over excessive physicality boiled over for everyone to see. This one play reveals both a crisis in how the game is being called and the raw, intense prison ball mentality that the league is dangerously letting slide. This is chaos and is threatening to derail the WNBA at the height of its popularity. So let's set the scene because the context here is critical. It was the Las Vegas Aces versus the league-leading Minnesota Lynx on July 25th, 2025. The Aces, the two-time defending champs, have been struggling, floating around a standard far below for what's expected for a dynasty, and the frustration is palpable. And Aja Wilson, the reigning MVP, has been shouldering the burden of a team that looks like a shadow of its former self. And then it happened. In the first quarter, Wilson and Lynx guard Kayla McBride are jock eyeing for position in the paint. McBride, who was actually teammates with Wilson on the 2018 All-Star team, sets the screen. There's some contact, and arms get tangled up near Wilson's neck, which isn't unusual down low. But Wilson's reaction is anything but common. She plants her feet and with two hands violently shoves McBride backward. McBride goes down, and she goes down hard. And let's be perfectly clear about what we're seeing. This isn't a basketball play. This isn't just fighting for a position or a tough box out. This is a deliberate, forceful, and dangerous shove. There's no attempt to play the ball. The only intent here is to send a message by sending a player to the hardwood. And what's the call on the floor? A simple, everyday, common foul. Now, let's talk about what it should have been. According to the WNBA's own rules, a flagrant one is defined as an unnecessary contact committed by a player against an opponent. Unnecessary. Was it necessary for a two-time MVP to two-hand shove another player to the ground in retaliation for a screen? And we'll get to the clip in a minute. Of course not. The play fits the definition of a flagrant foul perfectly. Yet the officials on the court either didn't see it that way or refused to make the right call. And the shove was so blatant, so over the top that to see it result in nothing more than a routine foul was far more many simply unbelievable. And if this was just a single isolated incident, we could maybe chalk it up for a bad night for the officiating crew, but it's not. Anyone who has been watching the WNBA this season know that this is part of a deeply troubling pattern. Tensions over officiating have been boiling over in game after game. Coaches, players, fans have been voicing their frustration, and myself, for months about the lack of consistency and fairness from these referees. And of course, a play like this immediately brought up what fans and commentators have been discussing for years, that so-called Aja Wilson. Remember? It's the perception, fair or not, that a superstar of her caliber gets the benefit of the doubt on plays that would earn a much harsher penalty for anyone else. One fan on social media, and people have been saying it, they put it bluntly, I'm sick of a special Aja treatment by the refs. And people are saying these refs always give Aja Wilson a pass, and she literally bear hugged Boston in the last game, which is the first clip I'm gonna show, and then I'm gonna show the clip versus the Las Vegas Aces, um, the Las Vegas Aces versus the Minnesota Lynx, because they played back to back. They played on July 24th, 2025 against the Indiana Fever, which they lost, and the score was 70-80. The Aces lost 70-80 to the Indiana Fever. And then they played on July 25th, 2025. They have played the Minnesota Lynx. Two incidents of a pattern with Aja Wilson, and it has been called out with her over excessive physical force. That's obviously unnecessary. All right. And if you're looking at these patterns and you seeing it for what it is, the outrage online was immediate and widespread. Fans aren't just angry, and I'm not just angry, but I feel like the integrity of competition is being compromised. And that's why this league isn't profitable. The frustration comes from the inconsistency, the watch players get called for ticky-tack fouls all game, and then they witness a blatant act like this and get a slap on the wrist, and it creates a sense that there are two different set of rules. One for the stars and one for everyone else. And this feeling is only magnified when you compare this shove to other incidents. We've seen players get hit with flagrant fouls for far less this season. When the contact is less severe, but the player involved is a rookie or a less established name, the whistle seems to sound much louder. And this double standard is a heart of the frustration. It's not just about one missed call, it's about the feeling that the game isn't being called fairly for everyone. But I have to ask you all, what do you see? Was this just really just a common foul, a simple part of a physical game, or was this a clear as day flagrant foul that the referees just decided to ignore? Let me know your official verdict in the comment below. And if you are frustrated with the state of the WNBA officiating, as I am and so many others, do me a favor and hit that like button. All right. So let's get into this clip when it came to the Indiana Fever, because I want you guys to see. I have to mute the audio due to copyright purposes. But this was July 24th, 2025 game. That's Aja Wilson over the head of Aaliyah Boston. Literally grabs her from around like a baby and start like hugging on her from the back. And like, what are you trying to do? Like, put her to the ground? What are you trying to do? Look, here go another pattern of her doing the thing. You see the circle. So then you see her literally get up under, like, look, two hands, okay? What's the unnecessariness to do all of that? What are you doing? Why do you keep grabbing her like you her bride or something? Like that's your baby or that's your child. I'm not understanding here. And she looking right at the referee. Look at her, and she hugging her. And Leah Boston like, yo, what is going on with her? So then you go into this next clip, right? And this was the game that literally took place July 25th against the Minnesota Lynx. So if you're looking at it, she literally pushes her like boy, you look at her face though. Look how angry she is. Look at why I want you to see Aja Wilson's face right here. Look. That's a demon, bro. This ain't no basketball. It's a demon. And this was a post, right? Because this is the sentiment of the people. Wow, Aja Wilson is playing so angry of late. What the hell is going on with the Las Vegas Aces? Whatever it has Aja playing mad. And then Aja Wilson responds. And look, this is proof. These players, these so high end celebrities, these big established names, they be looking at the comments, man. They be watching, they be on social media just like everybody else on a daily basis. They be trying to act like they not, but they do. LOL, wow, the court is my sanctuary. I'm never playing mad or angry. I love my job. I'm really good at my job, and I'm gonna continue to play the way I've been playing for 8 years. 8 years, you mean? Your vocabulary is crazy. So please stop with this crappy ASS headline. I respect Mac 100%, but just channel my inner Olympic Kobe for a second. Yeah, and Kobe would not do no dirty foul, no dirty play as this. Kobe played pure defense, and he will nag you and he'll pasteurize you and make sure you give up the ball, or stop. Make sure you give up the ball, or at least make sure he stopped you from being able to be mobile, moving around the ball, or even dribbling. So he'll basically put you at a halt. And Kobe is my favorite player, my all-star, my only player, and been my best player since '09. All right. So you're not about to add Kobe into this conversation. Kobe ain't got nothing to do with it because Kobe wouldn't defensively play like this. This is sore loser attitude from Aja Wilson. All right. And this incident, however, goes beyond just one bad call, one player. It rips the curtain back on the bigger battle for the WNBA soul. The line between intense physicality and player safety in the league has gotten more physical with more money, more viewers, and higher stakes than ever before. The competitive fire is burning hotter. That intensity is great for the game, and it shows the passion these women have. But this is the dark side to it. That physicality, when it's not properly policed by the referees, becomes a liability. It becomes dangerous. When a player can two-hand shove an opponent like we just seen versus the Minnesota Lynx to the floor and only get a common foul, it sends a chilling message to the entire league. This is acceptable. And it tells players that they can take matters into their own hands, that the aggressor will be protected over the player who gets sent to the floor. And what happened then? Escalation. Players start to feel like they have to protect themselves because the rest won't. Hard fouls become harder. Scrapes become brawls. And eventually someone gets seriously injured. And we are already seeing injuries pile up across the league, with many questioning if The let them play mentality is contributing to players getting hurt. And think about the precedent that it sets, right? This wasn't some role player losing their cool. This was Aja Wilson, a two-time MVP, a two-time Defensive Player of the Year, a face of the league. When she commits an act this blatantly and gets away with it, it normalizes dangerous play. It tells every other player that this is the new standard and this is how you handle your frustrations. That prison ball is the name of the game now. To make matters worse, the shove happened dangerously close to where Nafisa Kalir was landing from a jump shot, a move that could have ended catastrophically. So where's the league in all of this? WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has said they hear the concerns and that every play is reviewed. But for the fans and players, these words or those words feel hollow. And when they see what's happening on the court night after night, the league has been reactive and not proactive. I mean, look at Nike Okomaiki, right? On the Storm, the wild play that she did. Look at the pattern with Aja Wilson. I mean, it go all the way back to Kennedy Carter. I mean, we could keep going, man. That's not officiating. That's damage control. All the things that have been done to Caitlin Clark, right? We talking about DJ Carrington. Like, I could go on forever, and it doesn't fix the problem in the moment. It doesn't stop the dangerous play from happening in the first place. Fans have been begging for more transparency. They want things that are standard in the NBA, like a last 2-minute report, right? And to hold officials accountable for their calls in crunch time. So I believe the same way they do the NBA, they should do the WNBA that way. The standard last 2-minute report, hold officials accountable for their calls in crunch time, but the league has often cited a lack of resources as the reason for not implementing these measures. And players are also facing fines for speaking out, and this can create a culture of silence where players are afraid to voice legitimate concerns for fear of losing their hard-earned money, and they're being able to told shut up and play, even when they feel the game is being unfair and unsafe as we see it. And the league is at a critical crossroads, right? Its popularity is exploding. More people are watching than ever before, but this new audience is seeing a product, because it is a product. It's entertainment. It's a form of entertainment, no matter basketball or not. A product that at times feels broken. And they are seeing a game where the rules seem to be optional, where player safety feels like an afterthought. So the Aja Wilson shove is not just a viral clip, it's a defining image of the WNBA's current struggle and its product. And it's the perfect storm of inconsistent officiating, a dangerous level of physicality, and a perceived star treatment problem that is actively undermining the integrity of the game. And the league has more momentum right now than at any point in its history, but that momentum is fragile. Trust is hard to build and is easy to shatter. And every time a player is shoved to the floor without a proper call, every time a star gets a whistle that another player wouldn't, a little bit of trust erodes. And this single play has highlighted the chaos, and it leaves us with a terrifying question: is this the new standard? Is this what the WNBA is now? Because if the league office doesn't get a firm handle on this officiating, if it doesn't find a way to balance physicality with fairness, and if it doesn't start protecting all of its players equally, it risks squandering this golden opportunity. And the ball is in their court. But the question remains, will they finally make the right call? So let me know what you all think. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our breakdown of all the drama happening in the WNBA. And thanks for watching. Peace.